intentionally when I was pregnant. Hid. Not because I was embarrassed. I was growing a human inside of me.
All of you are in my comment section saying that these are not Erika and Charlie Kirk's children.
And I was praying to God that I was pregnant when he got murdered.
New footage just surfaced, and it shows Erika discussing the topic of rented babies. And now the internet is buzzing hard. Viewers aren't staying quiet about it. Instead of just watching, they're openly questioning whether the public story surrounding Erika and Charlie Kirk's children was ever exactly how it was presented. Online critics have started reviewing the timeline closely. In earlier interviews, Erika mentioned having 2 C-sections and shared that she wasn't sure about having more children. That was her position at the time. But after Charlie passed away, the narrative seemed to shift. She later said she had always dreamed of having 4 kids. That sudden change has people replaying past clips and comparing statements side by side. Then there's the photo timeline, which has added even more.
Okay, so Erika Kirk posted a video, and in it she has a photo of her ultrasound. She's kind of showing her pregnancy, and something that stood out to me was in the top corner it listed her as Erika Franzve and not Erika Kirk, Franzve being her maiden name.
Questions. Some followers say certain posted images don't clearly line up with the reported birth dates. And in today's social media world, where influencers document almost everything, people are noticing something big. There are no public pregnancy photos at all. That absence has sparked serious online debate. Not a single photo. Erika has said she chose to stay private during both pregnancies, and that is completely her right. No one is owed personal moments like that. But critics argue that the silence feels different compared to how open she's been about other parts of her life before and after those time periods. That contrast is what keeps the conversation alive. Now, this is where the online speculation really ramps up. Some corners of the internet have pushed the rented baby rumor.
Erika's taking care of Erika's children. She has a 3 and a 4-year-old. I am a single mother. I was divorced when my children were very young, and I work full-time, just like Erika Kirk, so I'm not saying, oh, you can't be a mother and work full-time, so don't come in my comments with that bullshit. A lot of us out here work full-time and raise kids. There's a shit ton of single moms out in the world and single dads. 2 weeks after Charlie Kirk's assassination, she was already on the road.
And to be clear, that remains unproven online talk. Still, people are asking questions. If any part of that theory were true, it would raise serious issues about what Charlie Kirk knew or didn't know, because hiding 2 full pregnancies from a spouse would be extremely difficult. So either the internet has completely misread the situation, or there are pieces of the story that haven't been fully explained. That's why this resurfaced clip from 2015 has people talking again. It shows Erika on set filming a small project, and the caption reads, "The perk of playing a young mom TV role, hourly baby rentals." Now, that could honestly mean nothing. In television production, babies are often hired for scenes. It could have simply been a lighthearted joke about getting paid to hold adorable babies during filming. But because of today's rumors, that old clip is being viewed through a very different lens. But here's the thing.
At the same time, reports out there saying that the mission that she sent over there was forced out of Romania because places where her ministry was going, children were disappearing.
After everything that's surfaced since then, that old caption hits very differently now. What once looked like a harmless behind-the-scenes joke suddenly feels loaded in today's climate. Online users are connecting dots at lightning speed. They're asking whether that hourly baby rentals line was strictly about acting, or if it somehow ties into the larger rumors that started, circulating years later. And that's where the speculation really picked up speed. Then people noticed something simple, but major. There are no clear public pregnancy photos of Erika. Not one solid image showing a visible baby bump. In a time where influencers document everything, from coffee runs to routine appointments, that absence stands out to a lot of viewers. The quiet is what's making noise. There's also a short clip going around that supposedly shows Erika during an ultrasound appointment, but even that sparked debate. Some online commenters claim the screen displays Erika Franzve instead of Erika Kirk, which immediately raised questions for them. On top of that, critics say medical sonogram screens often include the mother's date of birth under her name, and that detail isn't clearly visible in the circulating video. Then comes the formatting discussion. Many medical documents list the last name first, followed by the first name, so people are asking why this screen doesn't appear to follow that pattern. Maybe it's nothing unusual at all. Maybe it's completely standard in that setting. But when online sleuths stack that detail alongside everything else they've questioned, they say it starts to feel odd. Individually, each of these details might not seem like a big deal. But when you stack them together, that's when the internet starts digging deeper. That's exactly why people keep revisiting this topic.
Years later, she's allegedly recognized by an eyewitness at Fort Huachuca just 2 days before her husband's assassination. Husband who began to voice his opinions about Epstein very loudly and frankly.
So let's look at Erika's explanation for the missing pregnancy photos. She says she stayed out of the public eye during both pregnancies for privacy reasons. That's her official statement. And privacy is absolutely her right, but critics say the actions don't fully match the message. If the goal was complete privacy, they ask, why later share a used pregnancy test, hospital room photos, and pictures holding newborns? That's the point people keep circling back to. Online voices argue you can't claim total privacy while still posting selective moments that help shape the story exactly how you want it seen. To them, it feels less like full privacy and more like controlled visibility. Either you stay fully offline, or you carefully choose which pieces the public gets to see. And that's where the debate heats up. People are also pointing to Erika's history in modeling, reality TV spaces, and public media circles. They say that background doesn't exactly line up with someone who avoids attention. And according to critics, this conversation isn't just about the past. It's about patterns they believe are still playing out now. Critics are now analyzing Erika's behavior after Charlie Kirk's reported situation, and they're saying the pattern doesn't reflect someone who suddenly wants complete silence. They point out that she publicly shared emotional footage during an incredibly painful time and allowed memorial merchandise to be sold in connection to honoring his.
Erika, as a 17-year-old girl, goes to Romania to help orphans, somehow finds herself in the middle of a horrific scandal involving those.
Legacy. There were even reports of a replica-style setup tied to the event where attendees could take photos. Supporters insist it was meant as a tribute, a way to celebrate and remember him. But critics argue it all felt very public. Not low-key, not private, highly visible. So now the internet is asking a tough question. If someone is comfortable being that present during such intense and emotional public moments, how likely is it that they would completely disappear for 9 straight months, twice, without a single candid image leaking out? That's the debate heating up across social platforms right now. Things escalated even further after Candace Owens mentioned that an eyewitness allegedly claimed to have seen Erika at Fort Huachuca. That detail alone pushed the online speculation into a whole new direction. And then, just 2 days before Charlie's reported situation, another unexpected twist.
Some people say you were actually a Mossad agent sitting in front of me, and you were Charlie's handler, and Israel killed Charlie.
Entered the timeline, making people question even more. Then came what many are calling a turning point. Spokesperson Andrew Colt released a photo saying it proved Erika was home with her children on September 8th. The goal was simple: clear the air and shut down speculation quickly. But instead of slowing the rumors, it did the exact opposite. The internet went into full investigation mode. People immediately started zooming in on every detail of that image. Online critics focused heavily on the little boy standing beside her. Some commenters claimed he appeared closer to 3 or 4 years old, not a toddler under 2. And that's where the timeline debate exploded again. Based on publicly shared dates, Charlie's son was
Please stand.
reportedly born in May 2024. That would place him at around 16 months old when that September photo was taken. Critics argue that a 16-month-old typically wouldn't appear that physically developed. Even if a child is tall or hitting milestones early, they say the visual difference looked noticeable to them. That perception alone triggered another intense wave of online discussion. Then viewers began pointing out something else. In interviews, Erika often speaks warmly about her daughter, sharing little stories and personal moments. But when it comes to her son, critics claim his name and specific stories are mentioned far less publicly. Supporters say that means absolutely nothing. Every parent chooses what to share differently. Critics, however, argue the contrast feels noticeable. And according to online chatter, that observation only added more layers to an already heated debate. When Charlie Kirk was still alive, Erika shared that she had C-sections for both of her children. She explained that those surgeries made her unsure about having more kids. That's a very real medical experience. C-sections are major procedures with—
What do you miss most? How are his parents doing? Because his parents are private. We saw them for the first time at the funeral.
Yes.
You did such a beautiful job there. How how are all of y'all doing? You talk a little bit about the kids, but how's your mom doing? I mean, I know she's devastated for you.
My mom is, Charlie and my mom, well, Charlie's family's there, everyone's hanging in there. We're doing the best to be expected. My mom and Charlie, they were best friends. I would always say that Charlie was her favorite child. But the thing that was so special about our Sabbath dinners was that it wasn't about religious protocol.
Serious recovery time, and many women speak openly about how intense that process can be. But what grabbed attention online wasn't the surgery itself, it was how she described her hesitation. Erika reportedly said she worried about Charlie seeing her organs during the procedure. That specific detail is what sparked conversation. Critics argue that when most women talk about C-sections, they usually focus on healing, pain, mobility, or recovery challenges. Not that particular concern. Supporters quickly stepped in, saying everyone processes medical experiences differently. They argue there's no correct way to explain personal fears. Critics, on the other hand, claim the explanation felt unusual given the situation. And once that comment resurfaced, people started stacking everything side by side. The timeline debates, the alibi photo, past interviews, and now this statement. When the internet begins lining up dates, screenshots, and direct quotes, the questions don't fade away. They multiply fast. That comment about worrying over Charlie seeing her organs during surgery has been replayed over and over in online discussions. But just when that debate seemed intense enough, the story shifted again. Fast forward to now, and Erika is saying she and Charlie Kirk always wanted 4 children. That earlier hesitation, the concern she once shared about C-sections and expanding the family, seems to have quietly faded from the storyline. Online voices are pointing out the contrast fast. Before, the message sounded like uncertainty about having more kids. Now, it's framed like a big household was always the dream. Supporters say that's simple. People grow, situations change, and minds evolve. Critics, though, argue the narrative feels adjusted over time. That shift is what keeps the debate alive. Then attention turned to how Erika has presented herself since Charlie passed. She frequently speaks about motherhood being her highest calling. She encourages young women not to delay having children and strongly promotes family-first values. That messaging has been front and center, so critics are asking an emotional question. If motherhood is truly the most important role in her life, wouldn't that mean stepping back from public visibility and focusing entirely on her children, especially after they experienced such a heartbreaking loss? That's the angle people keep revisiting online. Supporters respond by saying grief looks different for everyone. They argue that balancing parenting, work, and public life isn't one size fits all. But the contrast between words and actions is exactly what continues to spark conversation. Critics say the public messaging doesn't always match the standards she promotes. They argue that the gap between past statements, the evolving narrative, and the polished image she presents now is exactly why this conversation keeps picking up steam. One point that keeps getting repeated online is visibility. Erika is rarely seen publicly with her children. Supporters are quick to say that proves absolutely nothing. Maybe she simply chooses not to post them or bring them into public spaces. That's completely fair. Not every parent wants their kids online, but critics are raising a practical question. With constant travel, interviews, speaking engagements, and appearances across the country, how much time is realistically being spent at home? That's the part they keep pressing on. Right after Charlie Kirk was gone, Erika stepped straight into the CEO role at Turning Point USA. There wasn't a long public pause or visible transition period. It looked like immediate full leadership mode. Since then, she's embraced that high-powered image. Conferences, panels, strategy sessions, non-stop movement, full schedule energy. At the same time, she publicly encourages young women to step away from demanding careers and prioritize family life first. That contrast is what critics keep pointing out. Supporters say leadership and motherhood can absolutely coexist. Critics say the messaging feels mixed, and that tension is what keeps the debate alive. That's where critics say the contradiction really hits. Before she ever met Charlie Kirk, Erika had already launched multiple businesses and pursued higher education. She didn't marry or start having children until her 30s. Now critics are pointing at that timeline and saying it doesn't fully match the strong message she pushes today. Supporters argue that people grow, evolve, and sometimes completely rethink their priorities. That's normal, but critics claim the messaging feels selective. They say one version gets preached loudly on stage. Faith, family, sacrifice, traditional values. Then there's the version they believe they're watching in real time. Leadership power, national visibility, expansion of influence, and constant momentum. The deeper people dig into past interviews, old photos, and archived clips, the more split the opinions become. Some are now asking the biggest question of all. Was this entire public narrative carefully built from the very beginning? Even the marriage itself? That's the theory floating around online right now. Whether it's just speculation or something more layered, one thing is clear. This story is not cooling off anytime soon. The conversation keeps growing and the questions keep stacking up. If you made it this far, hit that like button, share this video, subscribe for more breakdowns, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is all coincidence, or is there something happening behind the scenes? I'll see you in the next one.